Divide and conquer is a war tactic that you need to become aware of. It's a methodology which lures you, your energy, your focus, your attention, so you don't realize that you're being coerced to participate in the energy of hate, anger, fear, and rage. And when we are in those emotional states, we are disempowered. So I'm going to bring to light all the different ways that this tactic is utilized, both in personal relationships and now what is happening globally. Just before I get on to explaining this, I just wanted to let everybody know that I have officially launched my membership community on an uncensored platform called MeWe. And I'm so grateful that so many like-minded people who watch my videos, who understand the significance and the importance of all the topics that revolve around narcissistic abuse. I'm so glad that we can join in this safe space where we can freely share and express ourselves. I'll share a link below and it's by donation. So if you'd like to support me and my work, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you. I'm also doing personal one-on-one mentoring for those of you who feel you'd benefit with more personal attention. And I'm also in the process of constructing a Patreon account because I envisage that my channel, my work, my videos, everything will be restricted even more as I step up to this next level of disclosure. Divide and conquer is a common strategy used by narcissists, psychopaths in personal relationships. It's also used in groups, organizations, and I want to bring this method to your awareness because it's being used against humanity right now. The amount of conflict, disagreements, and hatred, and groups that are for and against, for example, vaccinations, 5G, in politics, it's exhausting. And you probably are fast realizing the wisdom of disengaging from heated debates where people are intent on misunderstanding you or intentionally misinterpreting your message just for the sake of being right. You can literally feel yourself weakening. And when you take sides, it's a false sense of power. It's a fake empowerment. So I'm going to unpack this strategy of divide and conquer so you understand, become familiar with recognizing it so you don't fall prey to this covert form of manipulation that appears superficially like it's empowering, like you fighting and arguing and trying to convince the opposition that you have the truth. Remember that the goal of divide and conquer is to work both sides up into a heightened emotional frenzy. And this, of course, causes polarization. It solidifies a dualistic and limited view. And you can see this being used by mainstream media. It's used on social media with trolls and hackers intentionally infiltrating both groups, leaving provocative statements, spreading misinformation, and then standing back and enjoying the show. And to both groups on both sides, it creates a torturous, frustrating energy. It is a form of pain. So let me put this out there. Remember that sadists take pleasure in your pain. This is how the use of this warring tactic used against humanity is clearly seen as a sadistic move. This strategy is used on many levels. For example, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, they will intentionally cause conflict to divide the family, to cause separation between children. They'll force you to take sides against your loved ones, and they do this to gain control. It also diverts you from what they're really up to. The conflict detracts from you noticing their malevolent agenda. It's preferable to make you feel disabled, to traumatize you, destroy your sanity, make you feel incoherent and uncertain. But when you think about it, nobody wants to unnecessarily fight. Most people are peace-loving. They want harmony, cooperation. It's comforting to be in a group where people feel supported, and this is how issues are resolved respectfully. And conflicts can be resolved when you remember to focus on the group's common objective. But that's not what the narcissist wants. Peaceful resolution is not the objective of a tyrannical organization. Remember that the tactic of divide and conquer is used by oppressors whose aim is to continue their oppression, to divide you and to keep you focused on your religious, economical, social, educational differences. Peace and harmony does not support their agenda. They need to propagate uncertainty, confusion, conflict in order to divide and conquer, thus feel powerful in their ability to do so. So causing conflict, provoking you, triangulating, emotionally triggering you, poking sticks at your vulnerabilities, publicly humiliating, amplifying agitation. This all has a purpose. You need to step back and see it. When they plot against you, for example, gossip and spread hateful rumors behind your back, tell one person one thing and then tell a different version of events to another person within your family, a group, a church, an organization, that's all to create division, not unity amongst members. They instinctively understand the significance of the words, united we stand, divided we fall. They thrive when two sides are opposing one another, attacking, blaming, hating. All of this conflict is great for those who stand behind the curtain with a satisfied smirk on their face. It's very gratifying to indirectly lower the status of a rival because this affirms their superiority, cunningness, and ability to exploit. This basically validates how weak, blind, and intellectually inferior you are. And your intensified reactions confirm it. And also remember that their image needs to stay clean. They need to appear innocent, unassuming, and fakely concerned. Divide and conquer is used to control because in our division, we are at war with one another. We do not see the covert saboteur, the underlying agenda, which is to weaken us, to divert our hatred toward the opposition. When we do that, it means that our attention, energy, and focus is aimed at who they've pointed the stick at as our rival. So all of that outrage, disgust, anger is toward the other side. But once both sides wake up, and this only happens if we are able to disengage and even momentarily agree to disagree. If we're able to suspend our judgment, maybe consider that our perception has been manipulated. Consider, what if we've both been fed half-truths, deliberately misinformed? If people on both sides of the opposition realize we are both suffering, if we can stop and recognize some commonality, perhaps like the fact that each side wants peace, we all want to be healthy, prosperous, have freedom. If we can find common ground in our humanity, in that moment, we may be able to see we've been set up. We've both been deceived, exploited. We didn't know we were being used like puppets, objects in a very strategized agenda. And this is when we will realize the exponential strength in our unity. A pathologically controlling, narcissistic, psychopathic system, and I'm talking about medical, justice, governmental, that are based on profiteering off our suffering, confusion, fear. These systems do not want opposing sides to unite. Unity is a threat to their control. That's why throughout time, humanity has been divided. Men against women, Christians against Protestants, whites against blacks, southerners against people in the north. It's just ridiculous when you look at the division of humanity. This division between all humans, when we forget we all have the same needs, wants, and human rights, when we wake up to the fact that yes, we have been intentionally manipulated to focus only on our differences and understand how this creates hatred and disdain toward humanity. When we need to do the opposite, we need to embrace our humanity and stop rejecting it. Humans are not the problem, and humans are not the virus. The malevolent programming that has infiltrated us is the virus and the problem. The powers that be are very afraid that they're losing their grip of their pathological control. Whatever side you're on, with whichever argument and whatever opposing view you have, what we have in common is that we are all losing our human rights. You need to know that this is why fear has intentionally been amplified. And what is the antidote to fear? Is it not love? Can we be mindful and still communicate our truth from a place of assertiveness and clarity instead of aggression and hatred? Let's remember that we all have been deceived. We've all been brainwashed in one way or another. And all of us are slowly waking up to certain truths. And wherever you're at is relevant for you and your development. So let's remember to honor that. We take back our power when we don't buy into division, when we choose to step back and not get enmeshed in yet another web of deceit, and instead focus on what unites us. We're now being called to step into unity consciousness. So just be mindful when you're being invited back into that dualistic view, back into engaging in polarity, as if there's only two solutions. What if there are infinite solutions that we will never have access to because we're so focused on being right and making the other person wrong? Speak your truth, share what you know with courage, and this will attract the right people to you. And remember that anything or anyone that's still obstructing the truth from surfacing, who stands in the way of the lies being exposed, will not be able to withstand the light that will be shone on this darkness, because the forces of darkness cannot stop what the universe or God has ordained. Please remember that love is greater than fear. And I might sound crazy to those who struggle receiving what I'm saying, but I'm telling you this from the standpoint of victory. The reality is that truth doesn't require defending, and time has a way of revealing truth. And I want to leave you with this beautiful quote: 3 things cannot be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth.